Hey number ones, welcome back to my channel, Metatron's Protectorate. Today we're going to check out a channel that I really like, and it's in fact one of my favorite when it comes to retro stuff and that sort of nostalgia driven projects. Alright, so I'm talking about Modern Vintage Gamer. It's a channel that has 856,000 subscribers, over 552 videos, and if you read the description, it's very simple. I love modern, I love retro, tech, hardware and gaming. Now this guy is phenomenal. I really love his work. And I've recently watched this one, his latest video from 3 days ago. It's been a year, 90,000 views, I think. I honestly think all of his videos deserve even more views than they get. They get a lot of views, but he doesn't post a lot. I think he posts between like 40 and 50 videos per year. But still, for what he posts, his videos get very good views. But I do believe that each single one of his videos deserves 1 million views. Anyways, one of my favorite videos that he has ever made for me is the video from 8 days ago, the first Amiga virus. The second one that I keep rewatching like a maniac is Lies of the Robots, which is just genius. I know that most of you won't get the joke, but it's the name of the game is Rise of the Robot, but he calls it Lies of the Robot because of the advertisement and how they did it. We might check that video out one of these days, but I want to rewatch a little bit of this, the first Amiga virus, with you. As always, when I make React content, it's meant to present something that I love and share it with you. So of course, I will not be watching the whole thing, and you will find links in the description and as a pinned comment for you to finish the video if you like what you see.
It was sometime in 1991. I just started my degree at college, and it wouldn't be long before I started hanging out and becoming friends with other nerds in the computer labs.
So he's older than me. He's in his 50s, early 50s, he said.
Many of us owned Amigas. PCs at the time were still...
Me too, and look at that beauty. Amiga 500, powered on. That's a Commodore 1084S. Lovely. I've got a Commodore 1080, and I have the same model, Amiga 500, and a mouse right next to my computer with the camera that, you know, the image comes from when you watch the channel. We have got my retro vintage section. So this is an Amiga 500 from 1987, still working with a Commodore 1080 monitor. Then we've got IBM Computer 5150 with a 5151 monochrome phosphorus monitor, 1981. Then we have a Commodore 64 connected and ready to play. From his accent, I think he's Australian by his accent. Do they have PAL machines in Australia? Do you always get confused? Whatever. If they do, then we pretty much have the exact same machine, which I love. Amiga really is one of my favorite generation of games, and one of the fondest memories I have are from when playing with the Amiga. I was 13 back in the day in Italy.
Unaffordable to most students, unless you had rich parents.
That's true. So he's of course talking about the fact that regular PCs like IBM machines were extremely expensive, and they were. And I think that that was one of the greatest aspects of the Amiga 500, specifically the line 500 rather than 1200 and the other Amigas 1000, is because this was extremely affordable. Most people could afford it. I bought it secondhand, which made it even cheaper. I bought it for like 100. What was it? Was it the lira? I think it was still lira, 100,000 lira, which would be probably like today, what, 50 bucks?
Of course, it wouldn't be long before we started copying discs. Much of my education to the Amiga was thanks to groups like Razor 1911, Fairlight, Cortex, and Prestige. But one particular day, I came home with a stack of discs in my hand.
Tell me about it. That'd be like every other day for me back in the day. Remember, we used to do a lot of floppy disk copying, particularly. Let me tell you this one before we continue. I used to go to my neighbor's place, my neighbor's home, literally living above, one floor above. And he had a dad. So we all had, I had an Amiga 500, my neighbor had an Amiga 1200. All of us had Amigas, but his dad was a computer freak. A wizard he was. And so every time we would buy these stacks of empty discs, the blue ones, the black ones, and then we would go to his place. His dad would do all the copying for us, and so we would play. Then at the end of the playing session, his dad would come back with this massive smile and like 20 discs per kid. Oh my gosh, that was great. That was great.
One of them was Lemmings, a brand new puzzle game that I'd heard about from Psygnosis that I was eager to check out.
I still have it, complete in box.
When I booted up the disc, I didn't get the classic Psygnosis owl logo splash screen. Instead, I got this.
Oh no. I never had that. Never had virus. I didn't even know that viruses existed for Amiga, so this was extremely informational.
The message said, "Something wonderful has happened. Your Amiga is alive. And even better, some of your disks are infected by a virus."
Cheeky.
At the time, I didn't know what this was, and worse, my game didn't boot at all. Each time I tried, nothing would happen. The disk wouldn't boot. So obviously the thing to do was to try another disk, and that didn't boot either. Eventually,
oh my gosh, I would have panicked. I still panic if something like that happens to me with whatever computer I'm using. One of my retro ones or this, I would have completely panicked.
Went through my entire set of disks, and that message would finally reappear. I realized that maybe some resident program was hanging around in memory, so I powered everything down and turned the Amiga back on, put the Lemmings disk back in, and again, nothing happened. The next day at school, my friends let me know that they had the...
Isn't it so nice, the clean blue and white with orange accents, which is of course a contrasting color. It's very clean, very neat. I love the scan lines. My gosh, CRTs are the best.
same message on their Amiga as well. And even worse, any disk that I inserted into my Amiga that wasn't write protected would become infected too.
Oh no.
This was mine and probably many others that are watching this, their very first experience with having a virus on their home computer.
I wonder how, because I've never met anyone who had this problem. So maybe in Italy wasn't as popular, because I never met anyone with virus problems with their Amiga.
This is the SCA virus, one of the very first computer viruses to exist. It released in 1987. SCA is short for Swiss Cracking Association, a cracking group
Was the Swiss all along, never mind being neutral.
was well known in the C64 and Amiga scenes. And
Oh my gosh, virus remains in memory and watches for uninfected disks. When an uninfected disk is used, the virus replicates itself onto the disk memory. Goodness gracious, this was already happening in the early 90s?
infamously write one of the very first home computer viruses in history. It became so widespread that it even made its way to some commercial games. And it was said that thanks to rampant software piracy, 40% of Amigas sold worldwide would get infected.
40% sold worldwide. Man, I was lucky. And so were all my friends. That's insane. Oh, there's a sponsor. War Thunder. Yay, grab that money, mate. Happy for you.
A computer virus is a type of malware that replicates itself by modifying other computer programs and inserting its own code into those programs.
Right.
If this replication succeeds, then the affected program is said to be infected. And a computer virus is a metaphor derived from biological viruses. Now these days, when someone says computer virus, it's more in reference to malware or ransomware that can devastate entire computer networks that are all connected online. But while the earliest computer viruses weren't so sophisticated, they still caused many problems and much confusion.
Yeah, I mean, 40%. 40% of all machines got infected. That's a pandemic. That's an outbreak of an infectious cyber disease. And I had no idea. See, that's what I mean. This channel is incredible. Very informative.
The first known virus to make its way to home computers was known as Brain, which released in 1986, 1 year before SCA, and it was developed by two brothers who ran a computer software store in Pakistan called Brain Computer Services. They were selling cut-priced versions of IBM PC software such as Lotus 123 and WordStar for as little as a few bucks a piece. In effect, they were pirating software and distributing illegal software themselves. One of the brothers...
So who is this guy? Because, I mean, the guys, the hackers, could we say, the programmers are the Pakistani guys. Who's this guy? Is he like another villain? Because he does look a little bit like a villain. Or is he just the interviewer? Maybe he's just the interviewer. He does have the villain grin.
Had written custom heart tracking software for the PC that Brain Computer Services sold to their customers. Like with most software at the time, it came on floppy disk. And
look at those computers. Look at all the setup, everything. I love the beige. I'm producing an episode, by the way, on beige as a color in the 80s, 70s and whatnot. And then I'm also, look at the printers. I still got one of those. Look at the phone. I freaking love this generation of machines. Windows XP. Is that XP? It is XP.
In order to track legitimate copies of the software, it had a custom boot sector. According to the brothers, for every copy that was made, this custom boot sector would install itself onto any disk that wasn't write protected, with a copy of the actual...
I see. So Brain was actually, because now he's talking about Brain, the first virus, that one was designed, to combat, to punish piracy at this point, because piracy was a massive thing with the Amiga 500. Although then again, in a way, I don't know how that would work from a business perspective. But if you think about it, one of the reasons why everybody wanted an Amiga was because of how easily you could pirate games. So of course, from the software perspective and software houses, piracy was a massive problem. But from the perspective of Commodore, I would have to look at the actual data, sales data. But I wonder if actually piracy was advantageous for Commodore Amiga, at least the 500 model, as an incentive for people to buy the machine. Of course, I'm not condoning piracy in any way, shape or form. I'm just saying, I wonder if it happened as a result of piracy being so easy to copy stuff. I wonder if that affected the overall sales and how well the machine performed. Well, I'm sure you'll let me know. Or maybe he will on a different video, because I've already watched this video like 7 times, by the way.
The boot sector of that target disk moved to another part of the disk, and then the sectors were marked as bad.
It replaces it.
The disks usually have 5 kilobytes of bad sectors. The disk label was also changed to brain, and the following text can be seen across the infected boot sectors. The brain virus was the first example of a stealth virus that could just hang around infecting disks by replacing boot sectors, rendering the disks unusable. The virus,
terrible.
however, came with text information.
Yeah, of course, because now the disk cannot boot anymore, because basically it changes the whole... Because that's the thing about these old machines. They have... It's not like you can patch it online. It tries to do what it needs to do. It doesn't find it, and the disk becomes basically a useless piece of plastic.
On the boot sector about the virus. Contact us for vaccination. In 1987, the brothers were shocked to have received a large number of phone calls from people in the UK, US, and elsewhere demanding that they disinfect their disks.
Disinfect.
They explained to their customers that their motivations had not been malicious, but the damage was already done.
Well, yeah, I mean, good luck convincing your customers after you have effed up half of their disks.
SCA, or the Swiss Cracking Group, got their start in 1986, releasing cracks for the Commodore 64. But like me...
Okay, so when it comes to the story of SEA, so this entire sector, please do go to the original video, give him the like, he really deserves it, he is fantastic. I'm giving him the like, I'm already subscribed, of course, and do watch this for the entire story. I just wanted to check out the conclusion with you, and because this is one of my favorite videos ever, I just wanted to show it to you. But I do really want to encourage you to go and give him the like and the view, because he really deserves it. So I'm just going to watch the conclusion.
Bytes of code. As for the group, they're still around to this day and still release the occasional demo here and there. Whether you were directly affected by the SCA virus back in the day, or if you weren't, SCA, or the Swiss Cracking Association, goes down as one of the most legendary cracking groups in the history of the Amiga.
Spectacular, spectacular. Support the channel, link in the description. Oh, he has a Patreon. I did not know that. Let me check his Patreon. Where is it? Found him. I found him. Modern Vintage Gamer on Patreon. I wonder if he has extra content like I do. Or maybe you just get to watch these before. Very cool, very cool. I'll absolutely become a patron of his, because he's really good. I hope he continues to post these, because I love the way he explains things. Alright, noble ones, but that's what I wanted to share with you. One of my favorite channels when it comes to retro stuff. So do check him out. And thank you so much for watching. And thank you, Modern Vintage Gamer, for making these. I don't know your name, so I'll just call you MVG. Thank you, MVG, for making the videos. I'm one of your avid watchers. Bye.